Isn't that because Zoe will go missing? Du Bin asked in surprise that Quach Zoe was missing. But Nam Tat Tan swung his hand and slapped Du Bin in the face. He loudly said, "What are you going to do now?" Du Bin wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth and said, "Headmaster, I want to take a leave of absence." Nam Tat Tan's blood boiled. "You know this kid?" He waved his hand as if this time his other hand had been caught by Du Bin. He dangerously leaned closer and said, "My homeroom teacher wanted to take a leave of absence." His cheek was beaten until it turned red. Rule 3. Go to the western city and smash Royal Number 1. Du Bin goes to the designated place in the other game and enters. The guests who were feeling peaceful suddenly heard a loud clanking noise. Why are they whispering? Looks like someone broke into the shop. The ceramic vase fell to the floor and shattered. Du Bin ignored everyone and knocked the things on the shelf down. Tru Kai also ran to check the situation. He came out and said, "Royal family number 1 was my area, was there some misunderstanding?" Du Bin didn't respond. His eyes hit the vase on the pedestal. He immediately picked up the vase. Tru Kai was angry, so he grabbed Du Bin's wrist and said that Du Bin only respects old Mac, but that doesn't mean I'm afraid of you. But Du Bin let go of his hand. The vase fell to the floor. He confidently provoked me that he was intentionally destroying his shop, so what should I do? It's not funny. Tru Kai would have raised his fist if that was the case. Tru Kai punched Du Bin in the stomach. Du Bin stepped back and vomited a mouthful of blood. Tru Kai said, "Here, quickly fight back." Du Bin said, "I won't take action because you're not worthy." On my phone, a message appeared at 8 p.m. tomorrow night from Sun Trang Loi Suyen. Du Bin's whole body was exhausted and he struggled to stand up. Bu2 asked the Zaza director of our restaurant to just let him go. Tru Kai took out the pack of cigarettes, picked it up and asked me, "Do I need to repeat it a second time?" Tru Kai lit a cigarette and told Bu2 to find 2 people to follow Du Bin. Then he went and told the brothers from other shops to gather. Bu2 scratched his hairless head, not understanding, but still replied, "Yes, Kai family." That same night, Du Bin arrived at Sun Trang Loi Suyen. But the Taoist appeared and grabbed his hand. Du Bin asked Trong Thien Su in surprise. He said, "Little Du family, you are not allowed to enter Sun Trang Loi Suyen." He asked what happened to Sun Trang Loi Suyen. Trong Thien Su looked dangerous, looked sideways, then turned back and whispered to him because he didn't know that this site was a famous black market. The people who come here are all big bosses in all industries. Things like life and death duels or liquidation of households are all normal here. Stepping into this mountain site is like stepping into a ghost gate. Moreover, I heard that today the mysterious owner of this place wants to hold an auction for the items of Jiang Trung's big men and some famous people of Binhai. All of them are here to avoid a fierce battle. Without fear, Du Bin pushed Trong Thien Su away and asked the mysterious owner who was auctioning what. He smiled and replied that I don't know, but didn't I say last time that I would help little Du family find out what happened to Trong Hu Bo? I've always secretly investigated for clues, but when I got to Loi Suyen's mountain site, it was cut off. I'm afraid this auction has something to do with her. Hearing that, Du Bin became even more determined. He turned around and said, "I knew I had to go to the village to drag Suyen and I must make them pay." Trong Thien Su did not forget to remind him in a low voice, "Du Jia." Du Bin approached the village of Luoi Suyen, but when he reached the main gate, he was stopped by 2 bodyguards. He asked if the safety check had already been done at the door. The other guy pointed and said he had to have at least 5 million in cash on him or some valuable pledge to let him in. A poor student dares to come to the village of Loi Suyen to participate in the auction, which is truly delusional. But at this moment Mak Ti Gao appeared again and asked, "Oh Du Bin, why are you here?" Before long, she rushed forward and hugged his hand. Du Bin blushed a little and replied that I came here to do something. Mak Ti Gao smiled and said that she felt stuffy at home and heard that the auction here was very interesting, so she sneaked here. Mak Ti Gao turned to her and pointed at the bodyguard, saying that Du Bin wanted to work. Who wouldn't dare stop him if he didn't want his life anymore? The bodyguards were startled and could only let Du Bin and Ti Gao in. They bowed low and said respectfully, inviting Miss Mac and young Master Du to enter. And once inside, Dieu Bin said Gao thanked you for helping me relieve the siege, but I couldn't go in there with you. She puffed her cheeks and asked, but thanked me. Why didn't she let me go inside with her? Dieu Bin patted Gao's head and said that coming with you would definitely attract the attention of others. He was afraid it would cause unnecessary trouble. Gao had him pat her head. Her face was as red as a gak fruit. She had to compromise, so wait until the auction ends and I'll definitely come find you. Inside the auction hall was extremely noisy and bustling. Participants wanted to win interesting items, so they kept bidding 7.8 million, 10 million, 12 million. Dieu Bin pushed the door open and walked in. Looking at this bustling place, he wondered if this was the auction place. Dieu Bin also stepped in to find a suitable seat for himself. Looking closely around, he saw that there were luxurious private rooms upstairs. Dieu Bin thinks that the above agencies still don't offer prices. It seems like they don't value these normal items. I'm afraid their purpose is the special item, Trong Thien Su said. The host holding the microphone and speaking next is the final item that everyone is looking forward to. This item is extremely special. It is not on the stage nor in the safe, it is on our seats. The whole hall was whispering, could it be that he was on someone else's body? Quickly tell me where it is. Dieu Bin thought, damn it, the last item could have been his mother and Hugh Boy. The loudspeaker clearly rang out the 109th tournament item and the lights suddenly shined on him. The host who shouted was Dieu Bin. While he didn't understand what was going on, the host excitedly introduced him as Dieu Bin, an 18-year-old male 10th grade student in Bin Hai whose main specialty is change of destiny. As soon as he said those words, everyone was surprised and wondered how he could change his fate just based on a high school student like him. He wouldn't be lying, right? This is Loi Suyen Sun Trang. Up to now, Loi Suyen Sun Trang's items have never been fake. Only then did Dieu Bin realize that he was too careless and that his mother was just a decoy. Their target was him. The people in the room started bidding me 300 million. It seems he really wants to win Dieu Bin. Then someone gave out 700 million. The number increased to 710 million. They're fighting over it, boss. Are you intentionally raising the price with me? Boss La, I'm bidding very normally, so how can I say that I'm raising the price with you? Dieu Bin realized everything, that the manipulator behind the scenes wanted him to take a month off from school and also intentionally made him angry with the Kai family. It was precisely because he wanted to borrow the hands of the big men here today to eliminate him that he kept quiet in the mountainous village and calculated carefully. The number is still increasing from 700 million to 710 million to 800 million to 810 million. Surely these sites must be very reputable for people to be so crazy. Dieu Bin approached the stage and personally ended the boss's fight. Picking up the microphone, he said, please be quiet. I have something to say. You guys want me, right? Needing so much money. All I need is one condition. Tell me who the auctioneer is. From the audience seat, a burly man stood up and said, little brother, everyone in Loi Suyen Mountain is anonymous, so if you bid on your words, are you provoking everyone? Furthermore, it's not clear to everyone whether he knows how to change his destiny or not. What is the reason why he asked? Whether Dieu Bin said it was true or fake, wouldn't he know if he tried a little? I think even the person who blocked my plan had already prepared the person behind the scenes. This really took a lot of thought. The guy stepped up and said that in the life and death contest, there was a fate for this Chao Long to test him on everyone's behalf. Seeing Dieu Bin's aura, a young man, everyone couldn't help but look down on Chao Long. He was a master of secret techniques. This kid was afraid he would die. I heard that very few people can handle his 3 moves at such a young age, which is a pity. On the stands, Dieu Bin faced Chao Long. Chao Long continued to directly attack Bok Long out of the sea. The dragon rushed towards Dieu Bin. He insisted that he would not let himself be disadvantaged, so he used his black dragon move. When he collided with Chao Long's Bok dragon, there was suddenly a huge explosion. After a layer of smoke, Dieu Bin's mysterious dragon rushed to attack Chao Long. He was hit and vomited blood. Everyone watched this scene endlessly. No, a master like Chao Long was defeated by a high school student. Could he really change fate? The organizers stepped up to check Chao Long's condition. He was unconscious. Du Bin was extremely generous and said that although he had expressed his desire to kill me, I didn't even consider that this one blow would only make him lose decades of skill. Chao Long was taken away immediately afterwards. He repeated that I still kept the same statement as before. The only condition to have me was to tell me who was who. To organize this auction, listen clearly, the only condition is to tell me who is organizing this auction. Suddenly there was a squeaking noise and Du Bin asked where the sound was coming from. He looked around. Up in the stands, someone looked at the ceiling in panic and shouted, "Look, there are two women on the ceiling. It's Trong Hyu Boy and Mother Du Bin." The two of them were handcuffed and hung high above their faces, with bruises on their waists and time bombs. The time on it is counting 1 minute backwards. Seeing 2 bombs, everyone no longer cared and started running away. But the iron door was slammed shut. Scarface scolded the green bean and closed the door. Did he want to explode and kill us all? Bosla in the back said today we were trapped by this double auction from start to finish. Mak Ti Gao ran out of nowhere and called Du Bin. Du Bin turned around and saw Ti Gao. He was surprised. She pulled his shirt and said earlier that I saw someone wanting to bully you, so I asked someone to find Grandpa, but I didn't expect that they would want to blow us all up. Mak Ti Gao said as she wiped away her tears at this situation. It could be seen that she was also very scared. Du Bin put his hand on her shoulder and said, "Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to you." Du Bin raised his eyes to Trong Hyu Boy and his mother and told him to believe that he could do it. The leader of the Trong Fong sect said that if the young man really had the ability, he could defy the heavens and change his destiny. Please save us. In the future, the Trong Fong sect in Jiang Trung will see you as a lightning strike from nowhere. Black Dragon is also right. Yes, our Black Dragon sect in Jiang Trung is the same. Du Bin turned around and patted Mak Ti Gao's head and told Ti Gao, "Wait at the door, now I will help you guys out." Du Bin started the system he programmed to change and then pressed select. The next second, the Demon King's skills merged into his body. Du Bin jumped 500 meters high and grabbed the chain from his mother and Trong Hyu Boy, easily pulling them apart. The two women immediately fell to the bottom. Du Bin jumped down and quickly hugged Trong Hyu Boy and his mother. He quickly removed the bomb from their bodies and threw it aside. The countdown timer shows there are still 26 seconds left. He shouted to get away. Then Du Bin took the momentum and rushed to the steel door. He put all his strength into his hand and punched the other door very hard. The countdown timer is running out. The time bomb went to 0 and exploded within seconds. The shock caused by the explosion was not light. Du Bin hugged Mak Ti Gao and protected her in his heart. When the bomb exploded, the other door was thrown out, experiencing an explosion throughout the room surrounded by smoke. Mak Ti Gao asked Du Bin if he was okay. He coughed for a few times and then replied that you were not injured and that he was fine. At this time, a few aggressive guys rushed in from outside the door. They had guns. It seemed like they weren't there to help get everyone out of here. Blonde Hair loudly asked who was Du Bin. You asked who is Du Bin. He stood up and frankly replied that it was me. Blonde Hair held a gun and pointed it at him and ordered you, Du Bin, get out of here. Didn't he hear you when he told you to get out of here? Du Bin looked at the surrounding situation and assessed that there were a total of 8 guns that could probably be resolved in the blink of an eye, absolutely not allowing them to injure others. But behind that smoke, True Kai appeared. He, Bu2 and his juniors entered. True Kai said unsympathetically that your duck's liver is really big, so you bully my brothers when I'm not around. Those people were immediately afraid that they would be confused, waving their arms and legs wildly. Kai family, you come here again. How can I bully your brothers? It's just a small misunderstanding. True Kai didn't want to have fun, so he directly kicked the yellow-haired guy in the chest so hard that he vomited blood. The blonde hair was clutching her chest and writhing on the ground. It seemed like this was a difficult time to live. True Kai said that if I had come one step later, you would have opened fire, but was it a small misunderstanding? Du Bin held Ti Gao and said, if you want my life, then you don't need to involve others. I think if you want to borrow the hands of these big guys to kill me, then don't blame me for retaliation. The Black Dragon Gang stepped forward, pulled the blonde hair's shirt and lifted him off the ground. You dare to point a gun at me? I really want to die. The leader of the Fong school ordered his juniors to surround this place and not let even a single clone leave. The blonde hair probably didn't have experience leading someone with a gun to rush in, but she forgot that the place she opened was where the big bosses came. If the blonde would put her mind to it, it would be good. Now it even affects the male lead, behind which is an entire family. Next to the person behind Loi Suyen Villa, someone hurriedly ran to inform the boss that the big matter was not finished, the boss was not done, and the group of people threw the boss away, blinding all of our people, and even said that if you don't come out, just leave. 1 minute they will kill someone. Hak Thien Thai's face turned pale and he stood up and asked what. He had no other choice, so he hurried out. I originally wanted to use the killing of Du Bin as an opportunity to restore order in Bin Hai, but now it seems that I have accidentally offended someone else and can only be a little softer in the future. Even the bombs we set up in the secret room couldn't explode and kill them. Everyone here is already waiting. Not wanting to put myself at a disadvantage, Hatch Thien Thai quickly explained to Boss La Hatch that this was all a misunderstanding. I just wanted the life of that kid named Du and didn't want to involve you all. I apologize. Previous error. That blonde hair had been shredded to pieces and was lying on the floor. Without saying the latter part first, the midwife just finished speaking and Boss La stared at him and asked whose life he wanted just now. These eyes were full of energy. Tru Kai sat there, waving his hand and telling Hatch Thien Thai to come over. He quickly ran over and laughed. Hee Kai Jia, do you have something to advise? Kai Jia's smile just now seemed to be a favor, but when he arrived, Tru Kai immediately tried to strangle him. He wished he couldn't wring his neck himself. You said Du Bin is my brother, so you can just freely want his life. Letting Du Bin come to my shop to break up the cockroaches. Unfortunately, I'm not an idiot like you and I can't be fooled like that. Tru Kai threw Hatch Thien Thai away and as soon as he touched the floor, a bunch of people rushed in to fight. Hatch Thien Thai hugged his body in pain and begged me. I was wrong. I was wrong. I don't dare anymore. As a serious retaliation, Boss Hack shouted and hit him hard for daring to plant this bomb. Du Bin interrupted Boss Hack. I have something to ask him. He raised his hand to signal his juniors to stop so that little Du Jia could ask about something. Du Bin approached him and sat down and asked him if he was Hao's father. Hatch Thien Thai answered with a bruised face. Yes, Mr. Du knows my son if you and your son. I'm friends, so that's great. This is just a misunderstanding. Please help me explain to the elders. If it were to be said, what Mr. Hao did with Du Bin would make the two of them not even considered acquaintances but enemies. Du Bin said before Mr. Hao wanted my life. Now he kidnapped my mother. Do you think we are friends? Hatch Thien Thai was beaten so much that his parents didn't recognize him and were startled when they heard that. Good, I told you again. While he was questioning Hatch Thien Thai, Bu2 came closer and informed that little Du Jia had told him about this. Trong Hu Boy had run away again. Bu2's face appeared serious. Du Bin turned back and said, Hatch Thien Thai, give me a chance to answer this question honestly and I will forgive you. Hatch Thien Thai cried and replied, Little Du family, just ask 10 questions, 100 questions, 1,000 questions. I guarantee you won't know if you don't say anything or don't finish talking. He said, I just asked you one question. What did you guys do with Trong Hu Boy? Hatch Thien Thai clasped his hands and replied that if my little Du family speaks, you must not tell anyone that I said it. He also comfortably replied, yes. Hatch Thien Thai knelt down and told Trong Hu Boy to say he was short of money, so he immediately gave her money and then did an experiment on her body to research the erectile dysfunction powder. Everyone in the room was shocked. Even Du Bin was surprised and asked Chan Ti. Tru Kai said that zombie powder is a new type of toxic product that if used for a long time, it will become afraid of light, bite people and crave blood, hence the name. Du Bin frowned. You guys were afraid that outsiders would find out that you were producing erectile dysfunction powder. That's why you killed Trong Hu Boy. Hatch Thien Thai quickly denied that our experiment had not been completed yet. How could we kill her? Du Bin wondered if it was really Hu Boy's suicide. Hatch Thin Tai was full of expectation and asked the little Du family if there was no other matter to ask me, could he let me go? Du Bin smiled and assured him that he could rest assured that I would keep my word. Du Bin's hand grabbed one of Hatch Thin Tai's shoulders and then tightened his grip in the next second. His bones cracked. Hatch Thin Tai screamed in pain. The bones in his shoulder were broken and shattered. Hatch Thin Tai lay there in pain, bleeding like a river. Du Bin told me that I said I would spare your life, but I didn't say I would forgive you. My mother is my bottom line. You have gone too far and given this envelope to your employer if you dare to peek. He will surely die. He replied yes. Du Bin scolded him to go away. Two people quickly helped Hatch Thin Tai leave. Tru Kai stepped forward and asked if he felt what he said was true. Du Bin replied calmly, half true and half false, but it's okay. I've thought of a way and this time I'll definitely catch the guy behind him. Bosla told his little friend Du Bin that he was lucky to have him this time, otherwise everyone would have ended up in this mountainous village. Boss Hack laughed loudly and said I'm just a rude person who doesn't know how to talk like Bosla. In short, if you have any difficulties in Du Bin in the future, I will definitely show up for you. Mak Ti Dao wiped her tears and said everyone was okay, which is really nice. Du Bin's mother was still in a coma, lying on Mak Ti Dao's lap. Du Bin came to wipe her tears and told her not to cry anymore. She would look even more beautiful when she smiled. Listening to the story that Du Bin went through tonight, Ms. Tu said that I really didn't expect that guy Hatch Thin Tai to be so bold. Luckily, you were there. If not, we wouldn't have known what happened to the little lady. Now, Mak Ti Dao huddled next to Ms. Tu and guiltily said she was wrong and shouldn't have sneaked out. Ms. Tu turned to threaten her son, still knowing he was wrong, then waited inside to tell Mr. Mak what to do. Mak Ti Dao begged Ms. Tu that you were wrong, don't tell Grandpa. Ms. Tu asked Du Bin what he was going to do next. Du Bin replied that on the letter I gave to Hatch Thin Tai, if I put my hands and feet on it, I would probably soon find out who his owner is. At that time, I will definitely not let him go. She said. Tu nodded and said that he loved and hated that he was clearly a good child. Then she pushed Ti Dao's back. I'll take the little lady back first. Tru Kai will take you and your mother to the hospital and wait until the birthday party. Come again. Mak Ti Gao didn't forget to remind him of that. Du Bin answered yes. That afternoon the sunlight was very beautiful. Looking at the majestic scenery, Du Bin thought to himself that the view in this Trung Lac Thuong village is so good that it can take in the entire Tan Hai area in his sight. Suddenly, a car passed by Hao Min and his girlfriends. They were laughing at Hao Min, pointing to see who was climbing the mountain, exercising. He also said you don't think it's good to follow Tru Kai's tail. Wait until Ui Tri comes back later and I'll be sure to teach you a good lesson. He grumbled that the last time he was angry, he asked his father to help him vent his anger. Instead, he was scolded and didn't know what Du Bin had done. He calmly thought that today Ui Tri would also come to the birthday party of this kid Du Bin. Du Bin sighed. No matter where he went, he couldn't find quiet because of the buzzing insects. Du Bin received a level 5 mission to capture a beautiful female corpse. There is an additional note that the female corpse's external appearance is no different from an ordinary person whose identity is mixed among ordinary people, making it difficult to distinguish. Du Bin secretly assessed that the people who came here were not rich and noble. It seemed that this female corpse's status was not low, but being able to blend in among the crowd meant what it meant to be by your side. That night the full moon shined with beautiful stars. At the luxurious villa of the Mak family, a birthday party is taking place. Countless guests have come to attend. As Du Bin said, they are not rich and their status cannot be underestimated. Du Bin looked at the party and was thinking that there were so many people and he didn't know where the corpses were hidden. At this time, a handsome young man stepped out and the girls immediately shouted in admiration that Ui Tri had arrived. It's really Ui Tri family, please help me see how I'm wearing clothes and makeup today. Someone said I advised you to give up the person Ui Tri family likes, Mak Ti Dao. Although this Wei Kai is still young, he has already reached the 5th level of his tempering body. His future is unimaginable. Even Du Bin gave Ui Tri a compliment. This person walks like a dragon and tiger. His strong posture is very similar to the general's demeanor. But someone behind him pushed Bin the glass of water in his hand and poured it straight into Tri's body. Bin quickly apologized to Tri. But he said it's okay, I'll go change into another shirt. At this time, Hao didn't know something and deliberately raised his voice to dirty someone else's clothes, so he still had to compensate with a new set, right? There were also people who followed him, looking at his poor appearance. How could they compensate him? Or maybe they were sneaking in here and wanting to plot something against the little lady. Hearing about the poor person sneaking into the party and having intentions with Mak Tigao, Tri immediately stood up and frowned and asked, "Yes, who are you? Can I bother you to take out the invitation letter to see?" Bin replied that Tigao invited me here, but I did not have an invitation. Not only did Mak Tigao personally but also Grandpa Mak invited you before. Of course you did not have an invitation. Tri frowned, suspicious that he called her Tigao. He asked who he was and what relationship he had with Gao Gao. Bin replied that his name was Bin and he was a friend of Mak Tigao. Tri is still interested in the invitation. Bin frankly replied, "I don't have an invitation." Very gently, Tri called security and said coldly that there were people of unknown origin mixed in here. Bin told you the name is Tri family, right? I don't have an invitation but I was invited by Tigao. Before Bin could finish speaking, Tri had already interrupted enough and saved the excuses for later. Let's say I must. To protect Tigao's safety, I invite you to go out now with the security to coordinate their investigation. At this time, Mak Tigao's father came out and asked who was calling the security. Tri politely greeted Uncle Mak. He said that I called security here and there was a person mixed in without an invitation letter. Bin sighed indignantly. Mak Thu told him to say Bin. He was personally invited by Mr. Mak and Gao Gao. Of course there is no need for an invitation. It's just a misunderstanding. I have to cut the cake later. Don't make a fuss about everything, okay? Fun. The person who has been overdoing it for a while now feels so dumb when he hears that. Mak Thu also personally led Bin to the hall. Tri's face turned black. He wondered even if his relationship with Mak Gao had to present an invitation to enter the village. Who exactly was this Bin? It's time to cut the cake. Mak Tigao said today, "Welcome everyone to my daughter's birthday party. I declare the party has begun." Mak Tigao stood next to her parents in front of the multi-layered cake. She began to make a wish. Bin looked around and hoped that the female corpse would not appear to sabotage Tigao's birthday party. But he suddenly noticed that Tri kept staring at him. He turned away and suddenly Bin felt very cold. Coming to the most anticipated part, everyone was excited and quickly watched the gift-giving part again. Wow! That diamond doll is too dazzling. I wonder who will come out on top this year. This is a good opportunity to follow the Mak family and of course give the more precious gift the better. Tri walked up and bowed to give his gift. The gift is contained in a luxurious red box. Tri opened the box to reveal a gem inside that seemed so precious that it could even glow in the crowd. When Tri said Gao Gao, "This is something I specially chose for you, hoping you will like it. Master the precious gem." Everyone was whispering, "Oh my god. This is blood-colored amber. Nothing else can compare to it." Receiving the gift, Mak Tigao smiled and replied that Tri thanked him for his gift and liked it very much. Tri was also very happy and said it was okay if I liked it. He just thinks Gao Gao is so cute. At this time, the Hao family had the opportunity to look down on Bin and shouted, "Bin, what gift have you prepared for the little lady? Are you looking forward to it?" Lieutenant Tri turned around and was looking forward to seeing what Bin would get out of his gift. Just hearing the name Bin, Mak Tigao looked forward to it. Hu Min raised his voice and said, "Bin, where is the gift you prepared?" Mak Tigao immediately realized Hao Min's intention to bully her brother Bin again. When Mak Tigao wanted to step out to relieve the siege, Tri blocked his way. He said that I don't think anyone would come to the birthday party empty-handed, but if that were true, there would be no education at all. Bin was frank. T Gao came in such a hurry today that he didn't bring any gift. Mac T Gao shook her head and said, "It's okay, as long as you come, it's the best gift for me." Du Bin said that although he did not prepare a gift, he did not come empty-handed. Mr. Noi Mac loves T Gao the most. If he is happy, surely T Gao will be happy too, so I have prepared some ceremonies for Mr. Noi Mac. Ui Tri doesn't understand how Noi Mac shouted that Bin Hai, who lacks nothing, still needs a junior like him to give him. Du Bin calmly said as Lieutenant Tri said, "Mr. Noi Mac doesn't lack anything, so I want to give him 10 years of life." 10 years of longevity is definitely an incomparable stone of Ui Tri. No matter how much money one has, when people get old they will die. Hearing this, everyone became unusually quiet. Lieutenant Tri said, "Du Bin, I know you want to make Noi Mac and Gao Gao happy, but talking nonsense is not much different." Noi Mac was very interested in the cane hitting the ground. He stood up and asked him if he was telling the truth. "Do you really want to give me 10 years of life?" Du Bin opened the system and started work to give Mr. Noi Mac 10 years of his life. He opened the Book of Life and Death and asked for Mr. Mac's name. After getting his name and a series of small operations, everything was done. He smiled and said, "Mr. Noi Mac is done." He's happy to say okay. Everyone was excited because his movements were so simple. "What do you mean, it's over? Just close your eyes for a moment and give Mr. Mac 10 years of life. Surely it's not a scam." Hao Min didn't believe in reality, he shouted loudly. He just closed his eyes and opened them again, then spoke. "Having given Mr. Mac 10 years of life, I think you're trying to be mysterious and play with us." Du Bin asked how he wanted to believe. Hu Ming answered with his hands on his hips, "Unless you can prove to me that you can know what other people's fate will be." Du Bin gave up and said Hao Min Hao would immediately have a bloody accident. He angrily spat out nonsense words. Du Bin raised his hand and counted down from 3. Everyone should take precautions and step back. That Hu family still stood in place and said, "Don't pretend to be a god or a ghost here, you don't believe it." Du Bin counted until the 2 men came forward. Hao Min stepped back more and more. The group of people also followed suit and stepped back to watch because they heard that Hao Min would have a bloody accident. He said, "Don't think that you can scare me, I'm not afraid." When he counted to 1, Du Bin himself could not calm down. If the overhead chandelier falls on people, they will lose their lives. But he still rushed to Hao Min. Before the chandelier fell, Du Bin ran to push Hao Min out. He fell down but was still injured by the debris, covered in fresh blood. Hao Min cried out in pain, "I'm going to die." The crowd both admired the music and feared what had happened. There are also people who don't believe it. They can't be sure that a dog yawns and it's just a fly. Mr. Mac ordered Hao Min to be taken to the hospital. He tapped his stick on the ground and said whether Du Bin's words were true or false. "I had my own way to check today without anyone else's interference. It's Gao Gao's birthday, making things so unhappy. Is there someone who wants to oppose me, Mac Ton Tong?" The whole crowd immediately quieted down when they saw that the Mac family was tense. Du Bin calmly brushed the dust off his clothes. Mac T Gao laughed. Ui Tri saw that and immediately thought, "Gao Gao, I will never allow you to like someone else." Suddenly someone walked up to Du Bin and said, "Little friend, can you check my fate?" Mr. Sao walked up with a beautiful and hot beauty. Mr. Mac told Mr. Sao that we should come to the back and talk together. Everyone left the party to a quieter place. Mr. Sao said that Mr. Mac and I have known each other for decades, and he was very clear about my way of being a human being. If it wasn't truly miraculous, he wouldn't trust a child like you, so there's also something I want to ask you. The girl next to her curled her hair in her hand and teased Mr. Sao. He also believed that a child's words were true. Boss Sao said, "Little friend, you can help me see if the Sao family really has to be a great queen. I'm still young and I went for a checkup and there were no problems, but why can't I be pregnant?" Du Bin heard that and immediately took out the Book of Life and Death to check. He was stunned when he saw her life expectancy in the Book of Life and Death. Du Bin suddenly stood up and whispered into Mr. Sao's ear, "Mr. Sao, can you go somewhere else with me or I will tell you the reason." Seeing that, she immediately became suspicious and secretly sneaked away. If you really have the ability, you should speak clearly in front of me. Bin looked serious and only said July 18, 2007, 9:50 a.m. You probably want me to continue. Her face immediately changed color when she heard him speak. Boss Sao changed his face and stood up to ask what he said. Tran Tiu Thien supported Mr. Sao and patted him gently. She said, Bin, Mr. Sao's heart is not good, let me tell him myself. He asked in 2007 what the two of them were talking about. Tran Tiu Thien replied that it was not convenient for Mr. Sao to have so many people now. That night, Bin felt comfortable and went to take a shower. There was a knock on the door. Bin immediately went to open the door and asked who was doing it so late. Outside, Tran Tiu Thien was standing outside the door waiting for her wearing a thin, sexy pajamas. Bin let Tran Tiu Thien into her room. As soon as she sat down on the bed, she immediately got straight to the point and said, how do you know my identity? Bin put on his bathrobe and wiped his hair and said that Tran Tiu Thien died at 9:50 a.m. on July 18, 2007. Just tell me before that you are a corpse. Why do you still want to be with humans? Tran Tiu Thien suddenly grabbed his brother's shoulder and asked why I stayed with the living, right? He replied yes. Tran Tiu Thien grabbed the hair towel from Bin's neck. She pushed him down on the bed and straddled him, her voice full of magic. He was still a little boy who didn't understand life. If not, let me teach you. Tran Tiu Thien raised her hand to caress his face and continued to talk about how to be a man. Such a cute little brother makes me feel a bit uneasy. Tran Tiu Thien leaned closer and continuously rubbed her body with Bin. But suddenly, many sharp claws grew from her fingernails and they stuck into Bin's neck. He quickly grabbed Tran Tiu Thien's wrist. At this moment, she no longer hid her claws and rushed forward. If Bin knew her secret, he would die. Bin used a move to push her away. Then he used the King of Hell to trap Tran Tiu Thien. Bin wiped the blood from his neck and said, you still need to tell me in advance why you want to harm Mr. Sao. Tran Tiu Thien was locked in the bell. She explained that I did not lock Mr. Sao. I just wanted revenge in the human world. Bin was surprised and asked who she wanted to find. Tran Tiu Thien shed tears. She bitterly said that old Big Hack Bang #1 in Binhai, Lu Kuang, robbed my family's house, killed our parents, and raped our sisters. I was tortured to death by him but he still lived well. I was not willing. I just wanted to borrow Mr. Sao's power to deal with Lu Kuang. I really never thought I would harm him. Bin knew that Tran Tiu Thien had no malicious intentions, so he immediately took back the golden porridge. He said, I understand you want revenge, but if you stay by Mr. Sao's side you will constantly absorb his positive energy and sooner or later he will die because of you. Bin gave Tran Tiu Thien a handkerchief and told her that if she agreed to leave Mr. Sao, I would help her take revenge. Tran Tiu Thien happily asked if it was true. Bin reminded me, but there was a condition that she must obey me and not betray me. Tran Tiu Thien was so happy that she rushed up and hugged Bin's neck and called out something sweet like, well, sweeter than honey, my master. Tran Tiu Thien put on her coat and said she would tell Mr. Sao the truth so that the owner did not need to worry. Bin replied yes. Bin closed the door and breathed a sigh of relief that luckily there wasn't a major battle. The system congratulated him on capturing the female corpse and received 10,000 gold coins and the option to activate one of 3 elementary skills. Looking at it, I don't forget the infinite power in every peach blossom blooming. The skill of each peach blossom blooming in Du's head imagines countless good things. But he pressed another skill that was more effective. The next morning, Bin went to see Mr. Sao. As soon as he saw him, Boss Sao stood up and bowed before him. Bin was startled. What was Mr. Sao doing? I was going to lose my life. Mr. Sao said Tiu Thien told me everything and then he bowed his head to you to save his life. Where is Tiu Tin, you ask? Mr. Sao said that she had left in the morning and that since she was with me under the name of having a few businesses and a living, there should be no problem. Boss Sao was a bit reluctant, just because of the feelings that had been in his head for so many years until the end, he didn't know what flavor it was. He let out a heavy sigh. Mr. Sao gave me a precious item, a wisdom card that as long as it was the property of the Sao family, I could use it indefinitely, hoping to express a little of my thoughts. Diu Bin quickly pushed the card towards Mr. Sao to give it back. He said this card is too valuable for me to accept. But Mr. Sao insisted on giving it to him. He told my friend Diu Bin that you owe me this card and you must accept it. At this time, Mak Tontong's people panicked and ran to little Gao Gao. Little miss, there's something wrong. Please come and see. Hearing that, Diu Bin jumped up and asked Ti Gao, what was wrong? Outside Mak Ti Gao's room, everyone from the Mak family gathered there. Gao Bin quickly ran to him and worriedly asked his grandfather Mak Ti Gao how he was doing. He himself helplessly shook his head and told him to come in and take a look. Diu Bin opened the door and only saw a pile of broken furniture on the floor. Mak Ti Gao sat there leaning on her knees. Diu Bin approached her. But Mak Ti Gao refused and told him not to come here. Diu Bin sat down, put his hand on Mak Ti Gao's head and said, Diu Bin, don't be afraid. No matter what happens, I will help you, don't be afraid. Mak Ti Gao got up and hugged her brother, panicking and saying something was looking at her. Diu Bin asked me what I said and who was looking at me. Mak Ti Gao blushed and shyly lifted her shirt and something grew on her body. On Mak Ti Gao's body, an eye grew. Seeing Diu Bin's nose bleed in the spring, but the first time the two met and saw that scene, he was very calm. He put his hand over his nose or else he would bleed out. Besides this thing getting bigger and bigger, is there anything else going on? Mak Ti Gao replied that recently I keep having nightmares and sleepwalking. I have never sleepwalked before. Mak Ti Gao recounted the story of how when she woke up this morning, she saw herself in front of the mirror undressing. When she opened her eyes wide, she was looking at her in the mirror and smiling. She held her head and shouted, I have never laughed like that before. The person in the mirror is not me at all. Diu Bin rolled his eyes and looked through the large mirror in his room as he approached. Under his eyes, he could see something strange in the mirror and a laugh was emitted. Diu Bin snorted coldly and disdainfully. He bit the tip of his finger and used his blood to highlight the dark shadow in the mirror. The scene changes to somewhere at Banhai Mountain, at a Buddhist temple. While the disciple was sitting and performing magic, blood suddenly splattered on his forehead and rolled out on the spot. They said that Brat's master broke our magic and also used a 1,000-mile voice to tell us to go away. I'm afraid he knows we're up to no good behind the scenes. That Taoist curled his lips, knowing why the master was planning to meet him and see. Diu Bin looked at the broken mirror and thought you kids should just come here. I said okay. Ti Gao is okay, don't be afraid. She hugged Diu Bin tightly, but she was still afraid that someone wanted to control her. Gao Bin asked Ti Gao if she said someone wants to control her, can you guess who it is? She covered herself and said she didn't know. Gao Bin patted Ti Gao's head and affirmed that it's okay. No matter what happens, he will always be by your side. First, he will take care of what's on you first. Thinking back to that beautiful spring scene, Diu Bin's nose bled and he swallowed his saliva. Ti Gao lay face down on the bed and lifted her shirt to reveal her white back and strange eyes. Diu Bin brought the talisman to her, but the nosebleed still continued to flow. He encouraged Diu Bin to calm down a bit and not take advantage of others when they are in trouble. Gao Bin glued the talisman to the eye position on Mak Ti Gao's back. Unable to hold back, she let out a moan. Ui Tri heard the noise and rushed in. What's wrong with Gao Gao? What was the sound just now? Diu Bin pulled the blanket to cover Mak Ti Gao's naked body.